Hey everyone, happy Saturday and welcome back to my channel. Hailey here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my regrets from my community college experience. So community college goes by very quickly. In most cases, about 2 to 3 years are spent at community college. And as a result, you can't really get done everything that you want or even need to get done. So the purpose of this video is to help you avoid making the mistakes that I made. So I'm going to be telling you about some things that I wish I had done, that I wish I hadn't done, and just generally things that I wish I had done differently. So stay tuned if you're interested. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is networking. And this is something that has come up a few times in a few different videos. Not even necessarily work-related videos such as this one. It's not, addressed to someone who's looking for a job. But when it comes to networking, I wish that I had done more of it in community college. What is networking? Networking is really putting yourself out there so that people know who you are, so that when opportunities come up later on in life, they think of you. And that is something that I really didn't take into account until I became a little bit older. So in community college, I had a handful of professors that I got along with really well, who really liked my work and who I really learned a lot from. I had an English teacher who actually went to UCLA. I had my psychology teacher who I learned pretty much everything about experiments and kind of the scientific method and development that I really rely on still to this day in what I'm learning currently. And then I also had an art teacher, which is kind of random, but I really did learn a lot from her, and I liked her and she liked me, and she knew that I was a really hard worker. So I wish that I would have put in a little bit more time and effort getting to know them a little bit more personally, so that those were the types of people that I could come back to even now that it's 2019, about to be 2020. I graduated community college in 2018, and most of these people I haven't seen since 2017. So I wish that, 2-3 years down the line, I could message them on LinkedIn or send them an email and them remember me. And maybe they do, but, since I haven't had contact with them in a while, it's really hard to know. The whole purpose of networking is not only to help you on later in life with careers and just work and generally stuff like that, but also something that I've run into a lot, especially as I made the transition from community college to UCLA, is scholarship opportunities. A lot of scholarships want you to have 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. And as a newbie at UCLA, as someone who hadn't even, completed their first quarter, it's hard to get a letter of recommendation when the teacher doesn't really know me that well. But if I would, reach out to some of my old community college professors and they remembered who I was, I'm sure that they would be able to write me a stellar letter of recommendation. Moving on. So number 2 is something that I wish I would have done, but I didn't really have the opportunity to do given my circumstances. So most of you who have been following me for a while and have watched a few of my videos probably know that I worked throughout community college and high school. So I did have a full-time job in community college, and as a result, I didn't really have a whole lot of opportunity to get involved in the community. But that is one of my regrets, because I wish that I would have been more involved in what was going on at West Valley College, which is the community college that I graduated from. There were a lot of people that I knew or that I had classes with, especially in the honors program, because I was in the honors program. Those tend to be smaller classes, so you see those people a lot throughout your time at community college. Those people I recognized as leaders on campus. They were involved in a lot of other things besides the honors program. So, there was I think that there was a fraternity on campus at West Valley that I was invited to. I didn't end up joining because they wanted you to do volunteer hours and stuff like that. And as I worked a full-time job, I really couldn't do 20 volunteer hours every quarter. That's just too much. So that was one of the reasons that I didn't get involved, but I regret it, because not only does it look good on your application as you're trying to transfer, but it's just, I feel like it really is a character building and a community building exercise and activity. And it's something now that I recognize the value of. Now that I've moved on and I'm at UCLA, I'm not working because I'm trying to focus on school. I do have time for other things, and community is one of them. I'm a transfer mentor, I am a project spell tutor. I do a lot of different things in the community at UCLA that I just didn't do in community college, and I wish that I would have. It's not like I didn't want to do those things, it's just that personally I didn't have time. And I'm saying, if you're not working, if you have extra time, if you find yourself just kind of laying around at home a lot when you're not in class, I would highly encourage you to get involved in at least one club, student organization, or whatnot that you genuinely feel passionate about. it will go a long way. Okay, next up is something that I think I got really lucky with personally, and that is planning out your education in community college. So if you are on top of it, you probably know about IGETSI, you know about ASSIST, you know about all those things that you need to do in order to transfer. But if you're someone, especially if you're someone who wants to transfer in 2 years, I would highly recommend being very careful and methodical about the courses that you take, because I honestly wasn't. I did follow IGETSI, I did follow ASSIST, and things pretty much worked out for the most part. But I got very lucky in that regard. Like, I just so happened to take classes that led me towards the major that I wanted to actually pursue. I just so happened to take classes that aligned with what I needed to get done. If I had been a little bit more careful, maybe I could have gotten out in 2 years instead of 3. I personally don't regret going to community college for 3 years because I think I wasn't ready to transfer at the end of 2 years. And I think that I would have had a completely different experience if I had tried to do it. But I know a lot of people who try to get out in 1 year. I personally don't recommend that because you have to do the same amount of work in half the time. So I just think if you're trying to be conscious of time, if you are on a deadline and you have a career path that's very like detail oriented and you're on a time crunch, I would recommend just being very careful and methodical. Even if you think you are being careful and methodical about your planning, just be very, very aware of what you're doing. I would recommend going through your IGETSI and your ASSIST paperwork every few weeks, seeing what classes you're going to take, seeing what's available in the upcoming quarters and semesters, and just being very planned out about everything. The last thing that I want to talk to you guys about today is taking advantage of the resources that are on campus at your community college. I think in most people's experience, you go to class, you go home, and you don't return to campus again until you have class the next day or perhaps the next week. So this can be kind of limiting in your experience, not only with the community aspect and the involvement aspect, but just even knowing what is going on your campus. In most cases, community colleges are regularly hosting events and different fairs, career fairs, transfer fairs, things like that can really help you get where you want to go in life. I personally wish that I would have taken more advantage of the resources that were available to me. One of the main ones that I think is a great thing, especially if you're going to be a new community college student, is that a lot of community colleges will offer free tuition for the first year to recent high school graduates within that school district or within that county or something. I don't know all the details because clearly I didn't take advantage of it. And even though community college, yes, it is very inexpensive compared to a four-year university, a state school, or a private school, it still does cost at least, in my experience, about $2,000 a year. So, if you could save $2,000 a year, why not? And I mean, that's just in tuition. You can probably get books as well. Books is another big one that I didn't take advantage of until later on in community college. Probably my third year of community college is when I realized, at least at my community college, that you can actually get your textbooks for free. So my community college would hold textbooks for certain classes, not for all of them, but for the majority of them. They would hold the textbooks on reserve at the library. And all I had to do was show up to the library with 10 cans of food to be donated to a food donation center, whatever, food center. 10 cans of food that would be donated to a food center, and in exchange for 10 cans of food, which was pretty cheap at Target or at the dollar store, they would give me my textbook for the entire semester. How incredible is that? That is something that I knew of, but I didn't take advantage of because I was lazy, because I was like, whatever, it's easier, I can just order on Amazon, it will be at my doorstep the next day. That is true, but imagine spending maybe like $5 to $10 on 10 cans of food versus $40 on Amazon for a rental. It's crazy when I think about how I didn't take advantage of it. So that's just one example of something that may be happening on your campus that you may not be aware of. So definitely look out there and see what else is available. In addition, I believe most community colleges are mandated by the state to offer some sort of counseling to their students. And a lot of people come to me and say that they feel left out, they don't really feel like they fit in at their community college. Well, I would encourage you to visit your community college's counseling center. Also, just general health services at your community college will be great. They offer usually like flu shots for free, different things like that. If you're not feeling well, it's kind of like having a nurse on campus. And it's just really nice to know that those resources are available, especially maybe if you don't have health insurance or something like that. It's out there. You already pay for it in your tuition. If you don't realize that, part of your tuition goes towards those resources. So take advantage of them while you can, because once you graduate, they're not going to be available to you anymore. All right, everyone, these are just a few of the things that I regret not doing at my community college while I was there over the course of 3 years. So don't be like me. Take my word for it. There are great resources out there for you. You just have to go out there and grab them, like most things in life. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more content like this, I am regularly posting videos about transferring, community college, UCLA, UC applications, every Saturday at 3 p.m. So please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next Saturday at 3 p.m. Bye!